every single time the Giants think they've turned the page from the Saquon Barkley talk, splashing back upon their shores of it being one of the biggest mistakes to let this guy walk in the history of letting guys walk. Every single time they think they're out, Saquon Barkley pulls it back in. And it's not by anything that he says, unless it's the talk that his play is doing, that he's allowing his play to talk. Because that's what he does. He's not a single time has he taken the opportunity, whether it was after torching the Giants himself personally, or it was him beating the Commanders on a Thursday night and going to the postgame set and hearing the Eagles fans serenade the Prime Video desk with chants of "Thank you, Giants." Not one time has Saquon spiked the football by saying, "I told you so." On this show, I chipped away at him multiple times. And he would only allow, I got a chip on my shoulder a little bit, but I do that all the time. And, I'm loving it here. Not a single time has anything out of Saquon Barkley's mouth been what leads to conversations like the one that we're about to have on this program, which is, again, what were the Giants thinking? And for the Giants to spend the Sunday the manner in which they did in MetLife against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, coming off of a bye, needing to keep winning to have a shot at their division because they've lost twice to the Falcons. The Buccaneers are a stout team. Baker Mayfield is terrific. He is a red ass. He comes in and does the Tommy Cutlets, Danny DeVito finger thing. And you could see he was basically doing it, and right to the Giants fans. And the only thing was missing was if he took one of his arms and placed it down and took the other arm and came up from underneath it and flipped a couple of those fingers to a middle one. Wow. Okay? I'm not lying. He said after the game it was in Tommy's honor and whatever. He said, Giants fans like that sort of thing. I figured I'd give it to him. They allowed Baker Mayfield to come in and plant a pewter flag right in the middle of MetLife Stadium and damn near shut him out. And Tommy DeVito's first start in place of a now cut Daniel Jones. A now cut. By the end of today, by tonight, Daniel Jones could be on a new team. And his services will be in demand. Not saying that the Daniel Jones cut was a mistake. We all understand it's the whole not getting Saquon done years ago. But the fact that on this day, the Tommy DeVito gambit flops on Broadway like The Producers. And unlike The Producers, that flop turned into a mistaken hit. For it to flop the way that it did, and then sit back and watch Saquon Barkley have the night that he had. And the night that he had was, in fact, him personally, the number of yards that he amassed personally last night was over 50 yards more than the Giants had all day. And the rushing yards up by a factor of 4x, more touchdowns. The longest play that Saquon had, one of them was double the longest play the Giants had. And this is a Sean Mitchell special. The headline is Donka Shane.
Wow.
I'm sorry to do it, but Joe, I mean, it was a collective effort, I'm assuming, for all of this to happen. But the general manager of the Giants, Joe Shane, they tried a couple times, but just didn't get it done with Saquon. And now Saquon's doing what he's doing for the Eagles. And the Giants are doing what they did yesterday. Malik Neighbors didn't have a single target in the first half. and had this to say at his locker room after the game.
How disappointed are you?
Very.
What are you most disappointed about?
I mean, shit's soft, man. I'm tired of going out there and losing. Like, it's just that. I mean, I don't know, bro. Go out there first, second quarter, don't get the ball, start getting targets at the end. I mean, can't do nothing. Start getting the ball when it's 30-0. What you want me to do?
Why in the first half are they not looking at you?
I don't know. Talk to Davis about that. Talk to Davis.
Did you say something to the coaches at halftime?
I mean, they know. They come up to me, ask me what plays I want. That was that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Now, to be fair, Saquon, with his 302 scrimmage yards on Sunday night, was more than 8 NFL teams had total yards in their game on Sunday of Week 12. So the Giants are one of 8.
Yeah, that don't matter, though.
Okay. I'm trying.
It's just like, there's like 15
no
teams that have
nuance.
longer Super Bowl droughts than the Cowboys. Guess
guy.
what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
You keep bringing that up.
Nobody cares.
Dave's is in Brian Dable, the head coach of the Giants, and the media on this day, just a couple hours ago, did in fact speak to Dave's about it.
Yeah, Leak and I talked last night. We talked this morning. He's a very competitive individual. Again, you want to get the ball in his hands, and I got to do a better job of getting the ball in his hands early. And he's a smart young guy that's very competitive, Pat. And again, when you lose like that, it's a frustrating thing. But we've had good communication, as we always have.
You think it's a problem that he is that he feels free to speak that freely and that critically about you, the head coach, and about the operation?
Yeah, I think. Look, I'll keep our conversations private, myself and Leaks, and look forward to getting ready here on Dallas.
Great follow-up question, and the only answer the coach of a New York football team can give, which is, I'm gonna turn down the conversation that you want to have on that subject matter.
That was a really good question.
Because it is a fact that, okay, a rookie 11 games in here or 12 weeks in here is now feeling free to basically say, go talk to the coach. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, again, speaking to both guys in Munich before the game, is they do appear to genuinely like each other. Daboll told stories about how Malik Neighbors would draw up plays for himself, and some of the plays that he's drawing up for himself was him as a decoy to open things up for his teammates. Mm-hmm. And, Kurt Warner, I'm sitting there, the rest of us are sitting there, Jamie Erdahl and Sarah Walsh sitting there, and the producers from CBS are sitting there saying, we haven't heard that from too many people. Hey, a rookie is in the X's and O's, is locked in on the science of getting open, and is locked in on knowing his value sometimes is not the primary pass catcher in a route. And Daboll, puts it in the playbook. Sometimes doesn't call it, but he puts it in the playbook to let Malik Neighbors know, hey, your 2 cents are valuable enough that you're going to see it in the playbook. So, that is the foundation of this relationship that I think will be characterized over the next 24 to 72 hours leading up to the game as strained. And that's the game that we're talking about is Thanksgiving. And that's the way I'm kind of winding up for all of this. Because I also came back from Munich saying the Giants front office is safe and the coaching staff is safe because the ownership likes them. I just remember, again, I'll just counsel this as the Giants go through this stretch. And I understand they cut Daniel Jones because they're done with him. And they cut Daniel Jones because there's an injury guarantee that if he got hurt, they'd be on the hook for money they didn't intend to pay him anymore. So you might as well just get rid of him and have him leave the team and deal with it that way. And, that's what then leads to when Saquon Barkley does what he does, the conversation about what the Giants have done. All that said, And a lot of people think, well, now they'll just lose. Keep losing so they can get as high a draft choice as possible and get the new quarterback in here, whether it's Shedeur Sanders or whomever, right? But Giants have to win games. They kind of win games, or at least they got to show up and compete. Because I do remember Joe Judge, once upon a time, was safe. And then he took a knee. Remember, they were in the shadow of their own goal line? I forget which. I think it was a division opponent. It might have been against Washington. I forget who. But they had Daniel Jones take a knee on third down. And I know we talked about a surrender formation. Not a victory formation, but a surrender formation.
That's right.
And that kind of flipped out many in the fan base and made Joe Judge fodder for longtime listeners, first-time callers, burning up phone lines, and it just poisoned the well to the point where they got rid of him.
Yeah, it was Washington. It was a 3rd and 9 QB sneak inside their own 5.
It was dreadful. So there is no more valuable beachfront property, I think, in the sports television National Football League business in the regular season than the Dallas Cowboy game on Thanksgiving. The whole country and the casual fan and the family member who doesn't know anything about sports, everybody's watching it. It's right around dinner time for a lot of Thanksgiving meals. And the Giants are right front and center. If they show up in that game the way that they showed up for the game in MetLife, where they haven't won a game this year, trouble. Then they're back in MetLife against the Saints team that I think a lot of Giants fans think is beatable. Then the Ravens come in. I mean, the next 3 games are so crucial, I would counsel, for that coaching staff and that front office. Who, again, I know, Chris, you're like, they should be gone just because of what Saquon's doing right now.
Yeah.
That is the...
Remember when Tennessee wiped out their GM when A.J. Brown went in there and blasted him for whatever, a couple touchdowns? Yeah, same situation. You can't watch what's going on with Saquon and think, oh, this guy should still have a job because we had him. He was ours. He wanted to stay.
Yeah, he wanted to stay. I mean, again...
Pony up the money. You got it.
Well, listen, you got me right now.
But this is far worse because we saw this happen in real time, right?
No doubt.
It's a billion times worse
because of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, again, I have sensitivities saying that, even though you may be right in saying, because it may cast NFL Films people as trying to make trouble.
I don't think
I want more teams, and I want more teams to allow the access that we're talking about right now, instead of use. But I'm not questioning the validity of what you're saying.
No, I got you.
I'm just telling about the sensitivities that I have talking about it.
Understood.
But I hear you. So does most other Americans and other NFL fans around the globe hear you and feel the same way as you do. I'm just saying that was such a disastrous no-show, and then what happened in front of the whole country that last night after. And I'll tell you what, man. Saquon keeps doing it and doing it and doing it and winds up the MVP of the league for an Eagles team that performs so well that Saquon might not be in New Orleans on NFL Honors Night able to accept the award because he's getting ready to play the next day. OMG. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.